Hello Year 3 and welcome to Lesson 5, our last reading lesson this week, and we're looking at Chapter 6, The Sheriff is Tricked. Our learning objective will be to summarise a sequence of events. So take a moment to pause the video, write down the date in your book, underline it with a pencil and ruler, and then write down that learning objective on your screen and underline it. And then unpause when you're ready to start the Robin Hood recap. And we'll have a look at that in 3, 2, 1. So we've got our 3 questions here. The first one is, how many armed men did the potter tell the sheriff to bring to the forest? Number 2, why were they going to the forest? Number 3, what are medieval stocks and who was trapped in them? What do you remember? Okay, pause the video now. Give those questions a quick answer and then unpause when you're ready to check your answers with me. Okay, let's have a look in 3, 2, 1. Well, the potter told the sheriff to bring only a dozen or so men to the forest because Robin Hood would hear them if they took too many. So a dozen means 12. So about 12 or so men to the forest. The sheriff and his men went to the forest to find Robin Hood's hiding place and capture him. The potter is actually Robin Hood himself, so he wants to lead the sheriff into the forest with only a few men, and the sheriff seems to be falling for the trap. And medieval stocks are used as punishment, and they lock the wrists and neck of a person in a position so they're stuck and ridiculed or made fun of by people over time. So when people used to be in the stocks, other people who were outside, who lived in the area, used to laugh at them and throw old bits of rotten eggs and different foods at them, and they were ridiculed for being there. Okay, let's have a look at the vocabulary today. So the first one is glades, and a glade is an open space in a wood or forest. So the trees are cut down, it's quite an open area in a forest. Then we have cart, and a cart is a wooden wagon with wheels that carries things. Demanded. Demanded means to command a question to be answered or a task to be carried out. I demand you do this. Rogue. A rogue is a dishonest and untrustworthy man, as we know. And then finally, tunic. And a tunic is a loose item of clothing. So it usually doesn't have any sleeves. It's without sleeves and it reaches down to the knees. So it's quite a loose item of clothing, a tunic. Okay, those are our words. What are we going to do with them? You know, we're going to write sentences using the red words. We're going to see if we can write at least 3 sentences, or if not, write 1 sentence using 3 of the words, or 2 sentences using 1 and 2 of the words. If you want to use all of the words, then that's fantastic too. I'll leave you to it. So pause the video and write your sentences with these new bits of vocabulary in. And then unpause when you're ready to have a look at the sentence that I wrote. We'll have a look at mine in 3, 2, 1. So my sentence, I put the potter drove his cart through the glade before throwing off his tunic to reveal that he is Robin Hood. Excellent. So that would be 3 different ones there that we'd have. So we had cart, glade and tunic. Marvellous. All right, let's move on to today's reading. So let's turn to page 46 and let's catch up with where we left off from. So it says, the potter left the sheriff and mingled with the crowds in the marketplace. He spent some time talking to 2 small men, and by the direction of their looks, much of the conversation concerned Richard Malbeat, who sat in the stocks red-faced and cursing angrily. Just as the town gate was closing at sunset, a little cavalcade passed through. The potter led the way, driving his cart. Then came the sheriff with his guard captain, Hugo, followed by men at arms. The potter went deep into the forest, through glades and along narrow tracks. "Are you sure you know the path, Potter?" demanded the sheriff. Robin Hood is nearby, replied the Potter. Suddenly, the notes of a horn sounded, and a huge man stepped out. Greetings, Master Potter, he said cheerfully. Have you brought visitors? Aye, Little John, answered the Potter. He jumped down from his cart and said, The sheriff has come to visit us. Robin threw off the cloak and tunic. Robin Hood, roared the sheriff. You rogue! No, Sir Sheriff, said Robin Hood. You are the rogue. That beggar Malbeat, whom you had whipped, did have a message from Gisborne, and as he said... And there we are. The sheriff in his tunic there, and the Norman captain on horses, and there's Robin Hood. He's thrown off the cloak, you can see, and the tunic, and there he is, with another one of his merry men there. The sheriff has been tricked. So here are our 4 questions. I want you, first of all, to summarise the plan as the Potter is finally revealed to be Robin Hood on page 46. So how did he get to this situation? What steps did he do? First of all, I know that he disguised himself as the Potter, and he sold his pots cheaply to get invited to dinner by the sheriff's wife. And then he talked about Robin Hood as he was round the table. Then he did the archery contest, the Norman captain. And then he led the Norman captain and the sheriff into the forest. And now he's trapped the sheriff in the forest and he's tricked him. Okay, infer from the text how the sheriff might be feeling now that he has found out the Potter was Robin all along. Use adjectives to describe. I'd say he's probably pretty angry, isn't he? You come up with that. Who was the large man who stepped out after the horn sounded? And finally, what is a glade? Pause the video now and give those questions a go. For that first summarise question, you might be best off putting it into 5 or 6 different parts just to draw out the steps of the plan. And then after that, you can answer those questions with a sentence or so each. Okay, good luck. Pause video now and unpause when you're ready to check what I have written against what you've written. Very good. 3, 2, 1. Well, here are my 6 stages. I put Robin disguised himself as the Potter and went to the market. The sheriff's wife asked him to eat with the sheriff. The Potter faced the Norman captain in an archery contest. The Potter told the sheriff, this is number 4, that he had met Robin Hood and they made a plan. The Potter led the sheriff and his dozen men into the forest, past an angry Richard Malbeat in the stocks. And finally, the Potter took the sheriff and his men straight to Little John and his men and revealed his identity as Robin Hood. And then I put the sheriff must be feeling angry, embarrassed, furious, anything like that would have been fine. Little John was the large man who appeared in the forest. And finally, a glade is an open area of woodland or forest. Well done if you got any of those, especially the summary, because there was quite a lot to that one. And add anything you need to. Let's move on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so there's a bit here we can find out. It's a little fact file about Robin Hood. I'll leave you to read through that. And what I want you to do is find the adjectives that you can see in here. And you remember what adjectives are? That's right, describing words. So find the words that describe people in here, especially Robin Hood. And then I want you to copy down Robin Hood, and then underneath, make a list of those adjectives that you can spot in here. Pause the video now and have a go at that. Okay, we'll move on to the last slide in 3, 2, 1. So it says we've got another one here as well. We've got one about Lady Marian, who we haven't really heard of in this book, to be honest, have we? But what I want you to do now that we've done the Robin Hood one, is to do exactly the same, but for Maid Marian. Write down Maid Marian and then the list of adjectives underneath that describe her. Okay? Well done again, everyone in year 3 there that's done that lesson. We've had Summarise, infer, retrieve and define reading gems. Another great day of work, and you need to join me next week to find out what happens in our adventure with Robin Hood. Well done.